3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, welcome back to TRG. Our topic of discussion is going to be about natural disasters and how they've affected the world so far.
Then we'll slowly progress from there.
And we'll go speculate from there.
Okay, we used to do quotes and stuff, and I was going through my Instagram and I accidentally saved something that I don't even know how the hell I saved it, but it's like saved by itself and it's a quote. It's just saved alone. I don't know if it was hit by accident, but it says, "At this point I really do not care much for others. I just live in the moment, and if you're friends with me, LOL okay. If you're not, LOL okay, that's fine too. I sound very heartless, but this is what the world has turned me into. This is what others have done to me. I am only this way because I used to care too much and was hurt by others way too many times. I'm officially done, and I don't care if you have a problem with how I am now." That's true.
It's kind of a beat brat, but yeah.
Well, fuck it. Like, how many times you gotta get screwed over to realize that you're worthy?
Yeah, well, some people it takes a lot more than once.
It takes some fucking, I don't even know.
It takes them too long
than they thought. Alright, anyways.
So, we are going to start our little adventure of natural disasters starting in September of 2017. So, when we refer to it, we're referring to...
Well, there's one that goes back to April of 2017, just one that's far out, and it was the mudslide that happened in Colombia. And yeah, that's all I got on that. Just there was a mudslide in Colombia in April of 2017. And what we're getting at is we've done research from back to 2003. There hasn't been so many natural disasters since the end of September to the beginning of this year. So we're just going from September to now. And this is like the most has ever occurred. So in September of 2017, we have Hurricane Maria, which pretty much fucked up Puerto Rico, which, you know, I'm from, my family's from, and Dominican Republic. And then, like, I remember like when the first week of Puerto Rico, when they were going through that after the aftermath and it was all shut down, people were like, they had the most killings in the first week of the power being out. The most killings within
the highest murder
rate from I think the previous year or something like that. I could be wrong, but I know it was like the most murders within a week, like in a long time period for them. So like that's pretty intense. But people are stealing generators and shit. It's getting fucking crazy out there.
Alright, so September 20th of 2017, there was a 7.1 earthquake in Mexico.
I know you remember that.
200 died from the earthquake. That's crazy to think that a 7.1, like, that's intense.
I mean, I know it's fucked up to make fun of, but that's like seriously a big crash. There's people in poverty now, like, from all this shit. So
the rest of it doesn't have dates, so
yeah. And then also in 2017, without like what also things that happened in 2017 in the months of November and stuff like that, Hurricane Irma, we know about that one because it fucked up our house. A tree fell on our porch and messed up our roof and everything, so we were affected by that. Messed up the Caribbeans. That was on September 20th as well. Then there was a monsoon flood in 2017 in Bangladesh that killed 1,200 people, 40 million affected. Another thing that happened was flood and landslides in Sierra Leone. 2,000 people were left homeless. And then there was another hurricane after that, which was Hurricane Harvey, which hit Texas, and that really affected Texas a lot. And
it caused how much in damages again?
I'll go to the damage page in a second, but it was extreme flooding and the most powerful hurricane in more than 50 years to hit Texas. So yeah, that's really a lot of craziness. But Jackie was saying about like the costs and stuff for what happened there. The damages alone for Hurricane Harvey was about $198 billion. Irma was 65.
65 what,
billion? 65 billion. We're in the billions here, the BBs. The Hurricane Maria was 102 billion. And then there's also like natural disasters that happened in 2017 where there was tornadoes like around Pennsylvania area. That was like 2.1, 1.8 bill. And then the wildfires in California, Northern California was 9.4. That was the fourth highest number out there. So yeah, that's what happened in 2017. So starting in 2018, all right, the first thing that happened in 2017 December and occurred to January 8th of 2018, which I just mentioned, was the California fires, and it left approximately 2 deaths and 281,000 acres burned, like gone. And what's crazy about it is we were over there in July for our honeymoon. So that's the first thing that happened in the beginning of 2018. The second thing that happened, which Jackie's gonna tell you about, is the Monte Carlo, I'm gonna probably fuck that up, the mudslides on January 9th.
So again, in Southern California, January 9th, there were mudslides that were a direct result of the fires. When the heavy rain follows a serious fire, it destroyed so much and it weakened the soil. So they ended up having 129 homes damaged. So they ended up having 129 homes destroyed and 307 damaged. 21 deaths were reported from the mudslides after the fires in California.
That's a lot for a mudslide, but that's just scary. Imagine like today when we were on the Spider-Man ride. What happened, Jax?
Well, today we were on Spider-Man and we decided to go a single rider. So we were, sitting there. Stephanie, ended up getting into a row right in front of me, and then I ended up getting in the row right behind her. So we were literally right, she was right in front of me, and we were just, enjoying the ride, having fun, and then all of a sudden, like, if you don't know what Spider-Man is, it's an indoor roller coaster, and it's a simulator, so it's, done by projectors, and you wear the goggles and stuff like that. So,
but it's not a roller coaster.
It's not really like a roller coaster. It's more of like a thriller for the kids. But it's still a fun ride, so we go on it, and we were on it, and right at the last part, the screens like completely went black. And the car that we were in kept moving. It was moving up, like it was moving forward. Like if it was gonna tilt up, and like we were gonna like go forward. So I ended up just like grabbing Steph, and I was calling her name, and I guess I was saying fuck because I was scared, and everybody was like looking at us. Because I mean, if you're a tourist, you don't really know what to expect, but. Not to sound messed up, but like we've been on that ride so many times,
and that thing was jerking, and then people were like, and I was like, no, that was not supposed to happen. Like it really wasn't, like to the point where I was leaning so far forward that if it was like to go, I was gonna go climb back there with you, because man, that shit was like going forward. It was fucked up. But anyways,
like the back was up and the front was going forward, and we were going jackhammering at that rate for like quite a while, and he was freaking out. So yeah. But anyways,
the next thing, I think it's about some. Go ahead. I think it's windstorms in Frederick.
It says January 17th to 19th.
Yeah.
So on January 17th to the 19th of 2018, Germany, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Poland, and other storms hitting parts of the UK. It caused windstorms by natural weather patterns. The precise damage of buildings is unknown, and strong winds uprooted trees and tore down structures. So it ended up affecting roads and travel for days. There were many people who were left with damaged roofs and homes. There were also planes and trains delayed in Germany. Planes and trains were delayed in Germany and surrounding areas. So more than 13 and possibly additional deaths from that storm.
Yeah, that's intense. On February 6th, there was a 6.4 earthquake that happened in Taiwan off the coastline. Over 40,000 homes were left without running water, and collapse and damaged buildings led to over 21 million in damage and 17 deaths total.
Wow.
That's pretty intense. And the only reason why we're doing this is because we have a point at the end. And then again in Mexico, poor Mexico. This is two in a short period of time. They had a 7.2 in Mexico's South Pacific coast in Mexico City on February 16th of 2018. 1,000 damaged homes and hundreds of damaged businesses and schools. This earthquake was caused by natural occurrences, environmental processes. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing like shift changes in the earth. There was 13 people were killed when a military helicopter lost control and crashed into civilians while helping people and trying to get them out and trying to rescue people. That happened when that earthquake occurred. Then there was another earthquake after that in Southern Highlands and Western. We're gonna go New Guinea. I think we're saying this wrong. We're killing this name. New Guinea, Guinea. Earthquake happened over there, 7.5 magnitude and a 6.5 aftershock. Thousands were affected by it, and over 160 deaths and 61 million in damage. 161 million in damage. So that's the earthquake frenzy. Now we go to the water frenzy. Here you go. Take it away.
Alright, so on March 2nd, areas between Massachusetts and DC,
New England,
were affected by heavy rain, and it caused bomb cyclones, which is massive flooding.
I'll thank you, because I didn't know what that was, and when I was doing this research, I was like, what the fuck is a cyclone?
There are 9 reported deaths from it, but the number of structures damaged is unknown, and 2 million were without power for days in the surrounding areas. 4,000 flights were canceled as well. Okay, so this is something that I found very interesting. So on March 27, 2018, there ended up being orange snow blankets in Eastern Europe, and it's from the Sahara Desert. And what happened was, like, particles from the desert itself ended up, with the wind into the air, obviously, and over time formed snow. So snow from Siberia had collided with the dust and filled the wind from the Sahara Desert from Africa. So it came like, it looked like orange snow. So it was a pretty crazy sight, but it does happen from time to time, I guess. But the way that this time it happened, it was a little bit more different. Usually it's a straying here or there of some dust particles, but from this past one, it was pretty much the whole area covered in orange snow from the Sahara Desert winds and stuff. So that was March 27th, 2018. Then to
March 31st of 2018, Fiji had a tropical storm that led to flooding and property damage, caused 1,873 evacuations, and 74 roads were closed. 4 deaths occurred in Fiji. And like I said, everything's in 2018. So now we're gonna jump forward. May 2nd, Western and Northern India. Abominably high temperatures may have contributed to this storm that happened. High winds and lightning generated by the storm destroyed in India. Yeah, this happened in Western and Northern India, where the storm destroyed houses and livestock, as well as uprooting trees and shutting down electricity for many people. And this is all from high winds and lightning and just a normal storm. And it's ironic that just a normal storm like this basic, that it was so intense, it killed 125 people.
Wow.
More than that. May 27th, there was this was offside my notes. The flooding in Maryland. Remember that? I couldn't find anything on it, and I had to do a lot of research to find it again. I don't know why it took me a hard time to find that, but yeah, the flooding in Maryland that took place from the storm that happened over there. Intense. They had a lot of water. And it destroyed businesses. There was cars and stuff like that. And then
May 3rd is when the eruption started in Hawaii. 3 days before the eruption, a crater collapsed, which caused the lava to start to pour down the volcano slopes. And this obviously set off a chain of small earthquakes, which eventually led to a massive eruption. The governor quickly declared a state of emergency. May 25th, there was a 4.4 earthquake that struck Hawaii near the base of the volcano itself, Mount Kilauea, which is sent ash erupting volcano up 10,000 feet up in the air. There was another earthquake, a 5.5 on June 3rd. It was one of 500 earthquakes in the summit area of the active volcano in a 24-hour period. The 5.5 magnitude earthquake sent ash up all over 8,000 feet.
And there was another one that I left off, and you know more about it.
Okay, so more than, at that point, when this article was written, there was 17,000 evacuations and 82 structures destroyed, 279 homes destroyed too.
But like I was saying before, sorry for cutting you off. Alright, so then there's the last one for May, because there's been like a lot in May apparently. Southeast United States, Florida Peninsula, Alberto was the name of the storm. The first one of the hurricane season. It nearly damaged 13,000 Floridian homes. Were left without power. 20,000 businesses lost electricity. Flash floods, evacuations, stuff like that. It's the beginning of hurricane season, so we know these things typically happen, especially around the Florida Peninsula, the Bermuda Triangle, and Puerto Rico and all the islands over there. But I just feel like it's gonna slowly progress into something worse, because just as we're going through this, we've found more, and we already have 25 natural disasters that happen within a 10-month period.
Okay, so on June 4th of 2018, Guatemala actually had a violent volcano eruption and it killed 62 people. It was fast-moving mixtures of very hot gas and volcanic matter rushed down the mountainside and engulfed villages around. The destruction weakened as it continued, but there are people who are still missing relatives from there, and some people believe that their family was buried, during this process. So
the pictures are pretty rough.
You also have to remember, going back on Guatemala's history of their volcanic activity. That volcano is a pretty scary one, and it oversights a very large city, a large area. So Fuego volcano is definitely something that is going to be scary, for Guatemala and Ecuador area, because that type of volcanic activity can be even worse if it started there.
Isn't it like breaking away at the...
Well, at this point, obviously if there's earthquakes, there's something going on beneath the normal fault, the normal foundation. So there's got to be something going on with either the fault lines or the lava flow, but something's happening where it's going to be scary for anywhere around any kind of volcano. And during this time, you also got to remember that Yellowstone's geysers were going off. Yellowstone's geysers. What the fuck? So Yellowstone's geysers were going off.
It erupted 4 times within 3 months,
which is quite unusual for it. So could be that there are signs that we're not paying attention to or realizing that preemptively end up making a huge natural disaster. So
because of climate control,
the earthquake over there in Guatemala could definitely lead to a potential volcanic activity, definitely. So that's something to look out for.
And do you believe it's our fault for not taking care of the earth and climate control? Or do you just believe, it's just whatever,
Well, it definitely has to do with us, but I do believe there's other factors just from research and stuff like that.
Yesterday, what they said, the 15th? The 14th? Well, anyways, on the 14th, I think that was yesterday, a tornado hit
Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and it destroyed a lot of structures and ended up, with gas leaks. So it's pretty devastating to that area.
I know somebody in that area. They said that they can't go to work because of the gas leaks. So that sucks. They'll pay for them. And then the last thing that I have on June 14th is Storm Hector that's hitting the UK with 100-mile-per-hour winds. That's the last thing I have on here.
And then there's also a potential for an El Nino to happen. So when I was looking into it, it just means that there's warm pockets of water that are moving its way towards and through very, very cold areas of water that are from ice melting and stuff. So what happens is it causes a very devastating storm for it could be it could hit South America, but mainly Mexico and further down into South America area. So it's something that happens near the equator, so it's over there in that area. I believe Panama over there. But yeah, that's something to pay attention to because it's something that could possibly happen in the future. But they don't say they correlate it with hurricanes on the other oceans, but as you can see, there's obviously other hurricanes happening, so it's definitely potential for an El Nino to happen.
Well, that's crazy stuff. So within the past 10 months, we've had over 25 natural disasters, and that just makes you think, do you think the world is ending? Do you think the world is ending, Jackie?
I mean, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I think the world, I think it's shifting, it's changing like it does, like it always has, you know, we always believed it has, so why would it ever stop? So something is happening with the world shift. So
no, I think the world's ending, like for real. And I've been like reading Bibles and different, like the Quran, and you know, hearing what it has to say, and our Bible, and seeing what it has to say about the end of time. And you know, like it's creepy, you know, scary stuff. I'm just gonna leave off on this note. You guys should really, like, even if you don't believe me, at least you know, get a couple cases of water, get batteries, flashlights, you know, like if a hurricane was gonna happen. And if you don't go through hurricanes, look up hurricane preparation. It's not gonna cost you much, but if you're gonna really go deep with it, like we have, firearms are good, canned goods are good. Make sure you have can openers. You know, you gotta think, like, if you watch those zombie movies and it's like, you know, the apocalypse,
The Walking Dead, and you know
what you have to do to get through something that might happen in the future, because you never know, especially with Russia still being mad with Trump, and you know what I'm saying, like in the United States, you know, you never know what's gonna come. And that's how come our next episode I want to talk about the New World Order and stuff that we found out from that, different things that has been going on with like the Pope and stuff, like what you know, little conspiracies. Our next episode is going to be a conspiracy episode. So basically, we're just
all this information bottoms down to everybody just be prepared for something, because you never know what could hit your area. Even if it's you know, something that might happen once every 150 years, you never know if it's about to be 150 years, you know, that mark. You know, you have to be prepared. So the point of this whole podcast was to inform that all over the world there's stuff going on, so you need to pay attention and just be like,
be alert, be mindful of the news. We're not trying to get like preachy or nothing, but I don't see us lasting too much longer on this earth. I feel bad for these young kids, because we may see some of it, but our nieces, nephews, they're gonna be the ones that it's gonna hit them to the home. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's gonna happen from here on out. Just with the list that we ran off, you could already tell, like, this is all, you know, facts. So like, you make the judgment. That's all I could say. So with that being said, we're gonna cast out. TRG out. We'll see you on the other side.
Shutterstock Music. Shutterstock Music.